Hello again. Now we're going to do chapter 7. This chapter was over nutrition. So the first thing I want to tell you is this is a huge, big brush stroke over the concept of nutrition. What you have to understand is that you had about 15 pages worth of a concept that, people dedicate professions to. And so nutrition is a lot more complicated than our text really gives off. And so let me talk about this first. The three key words that go into this in the very front of the chapter is nutrition, or the study of the foods and the fluids that you consume. The other one is diet, and that is what you consume daily. And then the other is nutrients, and those are the parts of food that matter to us. And we'll get into those here in just a minute. The first question, though, that comes up in the text is why do college students seem to struggle with nutrition? And I have looked at this in a couple of different ways, and I jotted down some notes. And here's my personal beliefs. And the first thing is the food quantity. I know that in our cafeteria, and I think our cafeteria does a great job, but in our cafeteria on campus, we have a buffet style meal plan, and those students who use the cafeteria have ad libitum access to however much food they want at the time that they want it. And so a lot of times as a young person comes in here at 18, 19 years old, they may not have a good grasp on how much they can eat. And there's a lot of other concepts that go into that too, in knowing when to be calling it quits at the dinner table, and portion sizes, and that really is individual. And I'm not saying that you can't maybe overindulge every once in a while at a buffet, because I'm telling you, I've done it. There's some places that I just cannot resist. But you have to keep in mind that if you do this consistently, it's going to cause changes in that thing from chapter 6 called body composition. So the next thing that I have on my list is food quality. Not all foods are created equal. We know that. We know that there are variations of foods that claim to be healthier than others. What I would tell you is that if you stayed on the perimeter of the grocery store, you would stay in an area that purchased, or that allowed you to purchase food that was fresher and probably more healthy for you. The more you go to the internal aspect of the grocery store, the more processed food you're going to purchase, and that's typically a dangerous thing. And this chapter is really not cut for talking a whole lot about that, but that's something that I would really want to throw at you to consider. Third thing is food timing. College students are well known for staying up late, having food late, maybe having alcoholic beverages late, maybe having an excess of food and alcoholic beverages late. And so this really has to have some impact on your metabolism as far as how you break it down, store it, and use it. So what I want to convey to you here is, if you are that person, and I know many of you are, I speak to students daily who tell me they don't go to sleep until 2, 3, 4 in the morning. And so if you're doing that, you're probably consuming 1 or 2 extra meals in your day. There's a reason that when you go to sleep at a somewhat normal 9 or 10 o'clock, that you sleep for 8 hours, that you get up and they have a break fast. And so that's there for a purpose, and it actually does help to maintain weight. And that's kind of my next point that I'll get into here in a minute. But if you stay on that consistent schedule, you only eat so much food, and that's definitely going to enable you to maintain guess what, from chapter 6, better body composition. And then that fourth thing, the sleep-wake cycle. This has been shown to cause weight gain, long-term weight gain, if we have problems with sleeping because of what it does to our metabolism and body over the day. And so this is another aspect that we really have to give attention to. A dietitian would be more the one to talk to you about that, or maybe even a sleep physician. But what I can tell you is that we found time and time again that sleep does matter, and if you don't get good sleep, or you don't get adequate sleep, then you're going to suffer from that, and so is your metabolism. So here's what I would like for you to do. I'd like for you to assess your diet. on lab 7.3. And I know that we have not been doing labs for a while, and I don't want you to go in to the Pearson product and do the lab. What I want you to do is look on page 279 and 280 of your text. I want you to go through that lab. I want you to work through that and then send me in the video summary an idea of how that went for you. Give me some of your input on maybe what it is that you need to do or change to improve your nutrition. See you in chapter 8.